Hello, welcome back to C's Story Corner. I just finished an interesting book by Allie Brosh called Solutions and Other Problems. It's her second book. I haven't read the first. In fact, I hadn't heard of this one until talking to a neighbor friend of mine who raved about it and loves it so much she went home, grabbed her spare copy of it. Yes, she has a spare copy on top of having bought copies for all her kids, to give you an idea of how much she loves it, and brought it to my home. Talk about amazing service, right? Love that lady. She's super sweet and fun to talk to. Anyway, it took me a bit to get to this, because I had another book I was in the middle of reading for a review, and every time I ran into her after she delivered it to me, I ended up apologizing and telling her it'd be soon. As someone who's been stood up and ghosted more times than I care to admit, I felt pretty bad. No, I promise, I'm not just saying I'll get to it eventually. I really do want to read it. How can I not, with how much you've praised it, and you even brought it to me? But, saying that makes it sound insincere. Even worse, we did a book trade. She finished and started rereading the book I lent her before I finally got to this one. Well, it took a bit, but I finally got to this book, and every word of praise from my neighbor lady was fully deserved. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting, as the lady said it was a graphic novel, which it isn't, though it's not quite a comic book either. I'd classify Solutions and Other Problems as an illustrated autobiography. And, well, after reading this, I can firmly say I wish all biographies were done this way. Now, these are simple drawings. By no means are they meant to be the next Monet or Van Gogh. They're quite comic book style, but the expressions, emotions, ideas, and feelings came through brilliantly. I loved it. Also, I just have to say, Miss Brosh is hilarious. Those who've been around me while watching a funny show or listening to funny stories, music, and whatnot, know I don't really laugh much. I'll smile, and if it really tickles my funny bone, I'll chuckle quietly to myself. But rarely do I laugh. Even then, I have a habit of forcing it to make everyone more comfortable, or to not stand out awkwardly. I don't know why I'm not a big laugher. I love comedy and satire, but I'm a broken weirdo. So, anyway, back on point. This book made me laugh throughout. It wasn't a constant in stitches sort of thing, but my husband could hear me upstairs with the door closed while playing computer games. And well, nothing's made me laugh that much in a good long while. So thank you, Miss Brosh. I love laughing, but rarely do I feel like it. So thank you for making me feel like laughing. Now, due to the nature of this book, which is pretty much a collection of stories from her life, it's hard to pick a theme or any solid focus that exemplify it. And before you even think, what about all the funnies that had you laughing? I'll stop you there. I love humor, I love a good joke and amusing anecdote, but I don't have a funny bone in my body. To prove how unfunny I am, that setup I did with a neighbor would have had me laughing if Miss Brosh did it, but it was lame and boring coming from me. What, still not funny? Yeah, I know, get along with the book review. As I was saying, I can see humor. I especially love subtle humor. I can appreciate it on multiple levels. But I am completely incompetent at both creating humor and retelling humorous things, so if I tried tackling that aspect of this book, I'd completely ruin it for everyone. I am, however, not half bad at focusing and speaking on the deeper parts of stories, so I'm going to focus on the last chapter of this book. I feel the most accurate way to sum up the last chapter is this. Take a moment to look at yourself in a mirror. Look yourself straight in the eye and say, I am a person. I know, it sounds weird, but when was the last time you thought of yourself as a person, just like everybody else? Okay, that still sounds weird. I'll just skip to the setup. In the last chapter, Miss Brosh describes her first real experience with loneliness. She realizes she needs a friend to meet her emotional needs. You know, those basic emotional needs we all have because we're human, and humans by nature are social creatures with emotional needs, generally fulfilled by friends, family, and other significant people in our lives. Yes, even the most asocial among us have those needs. I know I'm probably troublingly comfortable with solitude, but those things still exist within me even. Due to reasons, including ease of access, Miss Brosh decides the easiest person to befriend would be herself. The moment I read that line, I just smiled sadly and thought, good luck with that. I wouldn't even know how to go about becoming my own friend. And we quickly see neither does she. But she tries, and the process takes her a good 5 years. Though, the fact she managed to become her own friend that quickly gets props from me. My relationship with myself is definitely not the best, and I wouldn't know where to start for repairing it. But I've reached a kind of treaties with myself, and for the most part, me and myself follow the rules. though often enough we push those lines further than we should. But back to Miss Brosh. Over the 5 years, she finds that befriending yourself is an 8-step process. The first step is pretty obvious. Initiate the friendship with that strange creature you call yourself. Easy enough, right? No, it's really not. And that's okay. Think about how you initiate any kind of friendship. You go up, say hi, you try finding some common ground, and learn about them while carefully choosing what parts of yourself you're willing to share. Except, now you're approaching yourself. Hi, self. Okay, that was easy. Common ground. Well, you're both you, so that's covered. But learning about yourself. Have you ever tried doing this? If you have, did you enjoy it? Or do you shudder remembering? Were you happy with what you saw? Weirded out? Scared? Disappointed? Thrilled? Was the self you tried befriending someone you accepted, or someone you rejected? Did that self accept or reject you? I know. Reject myself? Why would I do that? Well, the more intimately you know yourself, the easier it is to find things you don't like or don't understand. And it's a kind of self-preservation to reject things which make us feel unpleasant emotions. However, as Miss Brosh says, quote, "If you reject yourself, do your best to remain calm. Remember, you're trying to be friends, and friends don't act like frustrated Gila monsters." The next step is just as simple. Ignore the rejections and continue attempting friendship. Step 2 is harder than step 1, simply because you've already seen hard things about yourself. But instead of running away, you choose to stay and keep looking past those things, to more things that are probably just as unwanted. But it's reaching this place you can start finding understanding, and maybe even some acceptance of the strange little creature you are. This won't mean you fully understand yourself, or yourself will suddenly accept you, or even just stop rejecting you. But you need that understanding before any kind of change can start taking place. Now, have you guessed step 3? Yeah, it's easy to guess, but hard to do. Step 3. Still ignore rejections and continue attempting friendship. Hopefully with the understanding you've gained in step 2, you can start seeing why you'd reject yourself. How often are the things we say and think to and about ourselves kind? I know this varies greatly from person to person, but negative things hit harder and last longer than positive ones. It's said it takes 10 positive things to balance out one negative. So, for simplicity, it takes 10 good days to undo the effects of one crappy day. That's just putting you at neutral, not positive. And you've had to deal with yourself your entire life. How many positive interactions do you need to bring you to a neutral view of yourself, or to positive? If you're anything like me, there's an impossible backlog due to a lifetime of excessive and uncontrollable ruminating. Hopefully you're not like this. So it could take a while before you get comfortable enough with yourself to even consider giving you a chance. But if all you can do is stop rejecting yourself and accept your own utility, if nothing else, you're doing okay. Step 4 is a little different and more in line with making friends the traditional way. You know, with people not yourself. This is appeal to your interests. Simply put, learn about the things you like. It doesn't matter if they're strange or nonsensical. Learn them. Then enjoy engaging in them. Spend time letting yourself be you. No matter how strange it may seem or feel or look, don't be afraid to just explore and experience the things that interest you. Just you and yourself. Now, if all that wasn't hard enough to begin with, step 5 really ramps up the difficulty. Though if you've gotten the first 4 down, you'll be okay. Step 5. Develop a supportive attitude. It's okay to be lame, strange, boring, awkward, whatever you are. But it's important to accept, love, and nurture those parts. You enjoy standing for hours, watching flowers dance in the wind, or making origami balloons? Great! Do it, love it, and realize that's not just okay, but awesome. And if people who aren't you or yourself don't like it, it doesn't matter. They aren't the ones you're trying to befriend. Step 6 continues on this line. Maintain a supportive attitude. Don't get sick of yourself. Enjoy being you. Keep working to love and fully accept yourself. Celebrate the little things, accept the strange thoughts that pop up, and help yourself work through them. Don't be the one holding yourself back. It's okay, it's good, and it's important to be supportive of yourself, no matter how weird you are. And when you find you're getting sick and tired of all this stuff, move on to step 7. Still maintain a supportive attitude. The text following this step is brilliant, and it says it all way better than I ever could. So, quote, We still need to pay attention to this thing's feelings and respond to its questions and care about its ideas? Yes. Why? because that's what it needs. Why, though? Because it's a person, and people need somebody who care about them. It's a person? Yes. Everybody is a person. Since I can't really add anything to that, I'll move on to the last step. Step 8. Maintain a supportive attitude indefinitely. The more you persevere, the more you'll understand and accept yourself, until eventually you realize you've become your friend. But it doesn't stop there. Of all friendships you want to maintain, the one with yourself is the most important. Your relationship with yourself is the only one you can't escape. It'll be with you until you die. So, if you can be your friend, instead of your enemy or abuser or neglector, then how much better and more enjoyable will your time on this strange little planet be? Like with most of my reviews, there's so much more to this book than I've come close to covering. The stories are wonderful and thought-provoking and hilarious, and the illustrations bring the story to life in a way words couldn't. Definitely check it out. And Miss Brosh, thank you for sharing your life with us. Thank you for making me laugh. It was a pleasure to read your stories. And to everyone watching this, thank you very much for your time. Stay safe and healthy.